Hey everyone, my name's Chris Lambert. On this channel, we talk yay. And look at this. It's here, just out of nowhere. Donda Deluxe. I know we have been talking about this might come out, but we didn't know when. There were billboards that went up. There were some teasers on Apple Music in other countries. And now here it is. And you can see that it is, like Kanye himself, decidedly different. It is now 32 songs. And I'm sure some of you are already aware of this and might be checking this out. I think it's been like an hour since this came out. I love this, though. Behold the latest incarnation of the MC's mom honoring epic. Like, who put that together? But you can see like songs like Life of the Party are on here now. Remote Control Part 2 is on here now. Up from the Ashes. So things from the stem player that we expected to be on here are on here. Never Abandon Your Family. So there's some exciting aspects like that, but there's also some perplexing ones, right? The track list is completely different, like completely different. Donda Chant being at 1 is maybe the only thing that's the same. Everything else is kind of thrown to the wind. And I don't know how to feel about that at the moment. Because, okay, so this is the perplexing part, right? Because you can see Jesus Lord Part 2 is up here now and Jesus Lord is at the end. And previously, all the Part 2s were at the end, which made it pretty clear that those were just essentially bonus songs, right? Like the main album ended with No Child Left Behind. And then once you got into the Part 2s, these were just additionals that were put on. And that's how our podcast has been treating them when we've been doing the concept of the album. If those Part 2s were just thrown randomly into the main sequence, we'd kind of be like, oh, well, maybe there's no concept at this point. And here, like Jesus Lord Part 2 being there and Jesus Lord, that maintains that idea of like, okay, so Jesus Lord Part 2 is now in the main body, in the main track list, right? And Jesus Lord is now the bonus track, right? The shorter version of it. But then you see something like Remote Control Part 2 right there and Remote Control right there, which both are in the main body, right? The main track list. So that just kind of throws me. I mean, it's one of those things where on the one hand, it could be a mistake, right? Remote Control is supposed to be down here and Remote Control 2 is now the one that's subbed into the main, like the main album. It's also possible that this is just a sign that there isn't any particular sequencing, that the songs were just kind of like added as they were. I'm talking with someone and they were pointing out that some of the most popular songs are right up front, right? Like Hurricane, Moon, Life of the Party, Off the Grid, Jail, Praise God, and Come to Life are, and Believe What I Say are all kind of the most popular from the album. So is this not sequenced for like artistic effect, but just sequenced for popularity, right? Though Donda Chant, you're like, why would it start with that then? With Donda Chant being the first song on the album, anybody that's listening to the album would hear Donda Chant. So the first songs on albums tend to be the most popular if people are listening like on the album level. And it could just also be that Donda Chant starts it because this is the new track list. I feel like this was the track list like at the second listening party, right? Like Hurricane and Moon were a little earlier, or Moon was one of the first songs in that one where it wasn't on the first listening party, if I'm correct. But No Child Left Behind, right, was definitely at the end of all 3 listening parties, and now it's moved up to number 10. So interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I truly don't know what to make of it. But it's out and we can all listen to it. And it doesn't have all the songs that we were hoping it was going to have, right? We made a video earlier today that it might have been 35 to 38 songs that we might have been expecting from all the ones that had kind of been on the stem player and that Kanye himself had mentioned. And then even the song that Kanye mentioned on Drink Champs, is it on here? So it's just like, man, he can tell you something point blank and then it doesn't happen. It's just, I feel bad for anybody that's trying to like share information or leak information, because you can have great info that's firsthand that you can feel 100% certain about, and Ye can just change his mind. He tells us things and just changes his mind, but we at least got the deluxe, which is exciting, and getting like a formal No Child Left Behind is also exciting. I was told, I was seeing it that apparently there's an uncensored version of the song if you go to Kanye's page and you go down to singles. Life of the Party, single explicit right there. So that's cool if you want to listen to the explicit version. That was something that Andre 3000 actually said, that he didn't want the song on the album if it was censored, because he just didn't feel that that was right for his artistry. And that's why it may not have been on the first version that released, but now putting out the uncensored version. And somebody had pointed out, I saw this on West Sub Ever, that the date on this was actually, August 20th, 2021. So it seems like this song was initially uploaded on August 20th, or set to be uploaded on August 20th. Clearly, it wasn't available before then. Otherwise, we all would have been listening to it. But it just seems like this has kind of been sitting in the database ready to launch since then, which is a little wild to think about, right? Like over 2 months. So yeah, and we have this post. Oh no, here. Good thing it's at the top. We have this post thanks to Christian the Real, saying Donda Deluxe changes. So these are some of the major changes. Tyler now on Come to Life, Remote Part 2 with Cuddy and extended Globagalob. Oh, God, I can't say it. I need Travis here to say it with me. Keep My Spirit Alive Part 2 with Casey. So, okay, the main version still is Ye doing the chorus, but there's a Part 2 with Casey. Life of the Party, Shibuya Kanye verse. Andre's verse is still censored with beeps. Sample is gone. Okay. Yeah, so the album version still has the beeped verse, which the beeps are awful. Like, I hate the beeps. I can do the silence, like having those moments of silence that Ye did on Donda. Like, I'm fine with that. But the beeps, oh, the beeps hurt. There's a lot of Life of the Party. There's also the Life of the Party single that's uncensored. Okay, that's where I got that. Yeah. Never Abandon Your Family, the stem version, which is the version with the updated lyrics. It's mixed and mastered, so that's good. Different track list could potentially be just messed up. It's awful. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that. Throat Goat line's gone. That's from Believe What I Say, which the Throat Goat line was an amazing line, so that's a shame. Light Up an Op Blunt gone from Off the Grid, which didn't expect that either. I know it had been talked about, but it's just like, I mean, what a change. Up from the Ashes added. Not sure about any mixing changes. Tell the Vision now says, thank God that I made it instead of having a censor it as much. Still bad. Okay, Part 2 is unrugad. So Ruga has been removed from Okay Part 2, which is something that I remember hearing from the stem player, right? A few things in the title credits. Kanye and Ovolta are the only producers on Never Abandon Your Family. Pusha T is a writer on Life of the Party and Up from the Ashes. Malik Youssef is now a writer on Donda Chance. At this point, I assume Malik is just credited on every Kanye song as a formality. Eventually, the full credits will be posted. We'll continue to updates. So yeah, those are the changes that we know at this moment, which kind of line up from what we were seeing from the stem player, right? People that had gotten the stem player had already noticed that Tyler was on Come to Life, Remote Control Part 2, Never Abandon Your Family, Life of the Party with the Shibuya Ye verse rather than the Drake diss Ye verse, Okay Part 2 not having Aruga. So a lot of these things Up from the Ashes were already expected. So not a lot of huge changes. I think the big shock at the moment is just the gigantic seismic shift in the sequencing. So Travis and I are going to have to get together and figure out what that means for the podcast season. I guess we keep going based on the Donda that initially came out in the updated version, the original track list. But it'll be interesting to kind of talk through and look at this sequencing and what that means. I mean, at this point, I'm not entirely unconvinced that this is just by order of popularity, right? Rather than anything else. So, but I don't think Donda Chant would be number one if that was true. I think definitely Hurricane or Off the Grid. I mean, Life of the Party hasn't even released, so that could be the fourth top song, right? It wasn't an official song, so that kind of takes away from that theory. But it's so top heavy with all of the hits that it just makes you wonder, like, was that kind of the power ranking for this? Like, let's just rank the songs on how strong they are as singles or how popular they already are. Though with Praise God also blowing up on TikTok, who knows? We'll get answers soon. Oh, wait. And then there's this. I actually tried to ask Casey, good old Casey from Keep My Spirit Alive, who has a ton of writing credits and things. I was like, yo, I don't ask for much. And I've never actually gotten a response to anything I've ever tweeted to Casey. I'm pretty sure. Like, we've never gotten an interaction from him in the past. So I asked this, and almost immediately, like, I sent this at 8:14, and you can see at 8:15, it's just leave me alone. I'm vibing. It's like, okay, yeah. I feel very dunked on with that response. Like, oh, I'll tell you later, bro. No, no, leave me alone. I'm vibing, which the man deserves a vibe, right? Like, this is an album that he spent a lot of time on. Even if he's not featured on a ton of the songs, like, he wrote on, like, gave advice, feedback on, like, was part of a lot of the creation of this album from, I think, as early as 2019. So when it came out originally, that was kind of a triumph for him. But I think even seeing this and, like, getting, like, a whole version of his song added after it got taken away, there's just it's a night to celebrate for Casey. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, man, did you have to do me like that? But we'll see if there's any, like, updates to the track list that might happen. If there's any info that comes out, I can already imagine people kind of, like, going into the comments on some people that are close to Ye and being like, hey, track list sequencing. I mean, just like I did with Casey, right? Like, any updates on that? Anything? So we'll see. And of course, as there's more info that comes out, we'll keep you up to date. But we have the deluxe edition to enjoy with Life of the Party. And I mean, it also, I might do a separate video on this. But if you wanted to slot in Life of the Party, Up From the Ashes, Never Abandon Your Family, to the original version of the album and what that would look like, I feel like Life of the Party would be something near the end. Whatchamacallit, Up From the Ashes would also be in that final run of songs. And something like Never Abandon Your Family might be like before Moon, after Moon, right before Heaven and Hell, like in that like sad period of that run of songs. So maybe somewhere in there, but we'll see. I might do a video talking about like our preferred sequencing of these songs in the original track list, which is a little pretentious, so maybe I won't, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, leave it in the comments. And until next time, I hope that you're able to stay wavy and, of course, keep it loopy. Cheers.